Hi there, this is Julia Emerald, and we're on Radio Works World with Marina. And we're going to have great conversations today about female sexuality. How are you,
I'm
Marina?
so excited about this topic because you have to be very courageous to open such discussions. So I'm here for you and over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's definitely a huge conversation the world needs to have. Women's sexuality has been ignored and also um, dismissed as well as shamed for many, many centuries. So I'm glad to be able to talk about it now and grateful to everyone who's pioneered the way for me to be able to do that freely as well.
Wow. So, Julia, is social conditioning that creates this barrier for people to understand what a woman means and what she feels inside? Or is perhaps a choice or is more of a cultural thing? What is your opinion?
Well, ultimately, I believe it's a cultural thing, and then that creates, the culture creates a culture of shame for women, for all humans, male, female,
We lost the sound from your end. I don't know what's happening. You could switch the camera off if that helps. Hey, Julia.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you are back. Yes, you are back. Brilliant.
Oh, I don't know that was weird. Okay.
Marina, just don't lose your train of thought. Just tell
Okay,
us.
no, we'll go back. So you were asking me if it's cultural conditioning or what causes a lot of shame around bodies, women's bodies, and also their orgasm and pleasure. And really, it's a global issue for both males and females and other genders, but specifically, I'm addressing the female side of it. And really, we're conditioned in this society and Western society and many other societies to be that our job as women is to be sexy for men. So we're supposed to be the sexy one that pleases the other person, as opposed to our sexuality being for our own pleasure and our own power and our own enjoyment. So what I do is I lead workshops for women called Bodysex, and I also do orgasm coaching and some female sexuality empowerment coaching for women. And I do this to help women really step into owning their orgasm, owning their power in it for themselves, feeling good about their bodies, and also feeling really, it's a beautiful thing to be able to discover who you authentically are. That's a very powerful thing. So that's ultimately what it's about.
Wow, Julia, this is very, takes lots of courage
Thank you. Thank you.
for somebody who is as beautiful and young as you are to swim upstream. And I wonder what brought you to this moment in your life when you are free to talk and you believe in empowerment and you know there is a need for women to see the other side of the coin, for women to understand their true worth, and for women to experience their true self, their authentic self. Because one thing to talk about and is another thing to experience that you
Yeah,
are truly
it is
authentic.
very different. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, you can think of sexual empowerment with your mind, you know, and think it looks a certain way, but it's a whole nother thing to really feel it in your body and feel your body relax and unlock and open up to that. And
So
for me, it started with what?
what brought you to this moment in your
Yeah,
life when you
what
decided
brought me to
to
this
talk about?
is,
Yes.
yeah, it's been a long journey, actually. I came from a very conservative Christian background, very, very repressed, and I did what I was supposed to do, which was shut down my body, shut down my sexuality. And I felt very ashamed of my body and these things. And when I went to college, my mind started opening up, and it was really a spiritual journey. God was guiding me into seeing that human sexuality and pleasure is normal, and that my body, I wanted to value it and see it as beautiful the way it was. But it was mainly a mental liberation that I went through. But then I ran into problems in my own sexuality with sexual dysfunction and pain. Actually, vaginismus is what it's called. So I struggled with that for 5 years. And in that time, I did a lot of learning and deep diving about sexuality, about my body, really getting to know my pussy and vulva and speaking to her. And eventually, like, this journey was me trying to heal myself of this sexual pain, which was just awful. And eventually I had to give up the fight to fix myself and just accept myself the way I was. And that actually unlocked and brought the real healing for myself. And then I started on a spiritual healing journey around my sexuality, which was just totally changed my sexuality in my life and my orgasm, and transformed it into something really powerful and beautiful. And I'm still on the journey. Like, I'm past that part of it, and I've passed a lot of other parts, and I'm here that's why I'm here, like, wanting to take other women, you know, on this journey and help them connect to themselves so that their inner divine guidance can guide them through their healing.
So Julia, tell me, what exactly happened to you? What was that moment, that eureka moment, when you decided that actually this is not for me? I'm not going to live as somebody which is somebody else. I want to live like myself. I want to discover who I am. I want to understand the beauty of my body, and I want to understand how my mind is part of any experience. And what happened? What exactly happened for you to take such a leap of faith and believe that this is very important? This is actually essential for you to fulfill your life.
Well, first of all, you know, when I had the sexual pain, I was very, very angry at my body and angry at my sexuality for being different from how I was. You know, I wanted to enjoy sexuality, and I was very sexual, and I did have a high libido, but I couldn't always express it because of it. So I was actually at odds with myself. And eventually I just realized that I was in a war with my body and a war with my sexuality. And I let go and stopped trying to change myself. And I decided to love myself just the way I was, even if it meant I could never, you know, have a lover again or something, you know. And that was a very powerful moment. And what happened then was the journey of the healing started. And at the end of the healing journey, the pivotal moment for me then that freed me of all the pain and the discomfort, which was about 4 years ago when that happened. That pivotal moment for me was a decision. It came up that I had to leave behind the world's ideas about who a good woman is or what a good girl is. That she was someone who follows the rules, whose sexuality is for other people, you know, or it's supposed to just be in this form in relationship or partner sex. I had all these rules inside myself about how my sexuality was supposed to be. And that was what a good girl was to me. And I had to choose to leave that behind and instead embrace myself as the wild, free sexual woman that I am, you know. I had to choose that. So I
It's a
chose.
choice. So, yeah, so it's a
I
choice.
chose
So
it. Yeah, it was a choice, but I would say it was more than that because it was a divine, like, spiritual moment, you know, that my body and spirit brought up to me. I could have made the choice with my mind, but it wouldn't have been as effective. So it was something my soul, you know, chose.
you are such an attractive young woman, and you are so smart, you are so open-minded, and I found that very attractive. And the way I look at this, there is no right or wrong, but I think because I'm Latin at origins, Latin women are, how should I put this? They're very happy with themselves. You know, we are not afraid
Mm-hmm.
of showing off whatever a bit more than it's
Yeah,
standard or normal. I don't know what normal is those days anymore,
yeah,
but
I know what
whatever
you
makes you
mean.
happy, you know,
You show
whatever
off
makes you happy.
yourselves and celebrate
Yeah,
your body.
yeah, it's about celebrating. That's exactly what I meant to say. It's about celebrating. That's the word. Celebrating your skin, the way you
Yeah,
smell, the way you feel, the way you know, the way you see the light coming on you, and
that's
be a reflection
beautiful.
of that light. And each person is so unique, and
I agree.
there is no such thing like a body form or shape that is right or wrong. If you go to Louvre in Paris, and you look at um, the masterpieces which are there, they're always women, naked women, and
Yes.
most people in my generation or our parents won't have such paintings in their house because it's a naked woman. And yet naked women are so beautiful. And
So
what is more
beautiful.
beautiful than a naked woman? You know, it's a very strong conditioning attached to everything that when you know, you are not dressed, or
Yeah.
you are not the
Right.
dress doesn't have the right length, or you know. So I think it's ridiculous. I think it's um it's almost like you are confining yourself to not being yourself. So let's
It's
say
so
everybody
true.
is wearing long dresses, and I want to wear a short dress. Who is going to stop me? You know, and why do I care what other people think?
Or maybe you want to be
So I
naked.
think,
Like, why is the human body obscene when it's naked? You know, we
yeah,
have this
well, it's a
bias at
choice,
the
like
most
you said.
basic level,
Exactly.
you know, against
And
it.
I think, and I also think, Julia, that when you are free to choose, when you are allowed to choose, when you become
Yeah.
aware that you have choices, you don't choose something which is extreme. In my family, my parents were very strict, but they always trusted me as their child. They knew that whatever decision I'm taking, they will be happy with. They will be happy for me.
That's
So
good.
I grew up with that in my mind, and I always pass that on. And I never feel the need to judge anyone, not even myself.
Yes. I think you're right about that element of, you know, of not choosing things that are extreme, in the sense of, like, we have such a loathing and fear of um, the idea of really being free to be authentic sexually, because there's an assumption that it's just going to mean um, dangerous behavior all around. But that's not how it is, because people are smart and they want to take care of themselves. And really all it is it's allowing you that choice, like, to actually be who you are and to enjoy yourself, you know, and enjoy your body. The workshops I lead, Bodysex, are all about that. They're very rich and raw. It's small groups of a small group of women, and it's done in the nude, so we actually have this experience of seeing other women's bodies for how they really are, and us being seen, and we're all held in that space. So it's very a lot of women walk away feeling like, you know, wow, I just never thought about the variety of women's bodies, and they're all beautiful. I can't judge myself, you know, is often what the result is. And I think that I loved what you were saying about the paintings, because I 100% agree. I have developed a very deep appreciation for the variety and just uniqueness of every person's body doing this work. So, and with myself, most of all, like doing the work on myself.
Wow, lucky the man who could enjoy your beauty, you know, because if you think about it, self-development, we talk about our minds, we talk about what we put into our bodies, we talk about how important it is to connect your mind, your soul, your body, and how to live with each other and love each other, all these aspects of your life. And very few people talk about sexuality. And what I noticed, especially with the male coaches who they feel they understand women, so they will coach they understand men, sorry, and they will coach women how to build and grow a relationship with the ideal man in their life. And the same way, I was wondering, do you feel that you understand women and you could run a workshop for men and help them build up and grow a beautiful relationship with an ideal woman, or just for women?
Well, I think that I could lead that, but I don't feel particularly drawn at this time to that. I really feel focused on body sex, and also sharing my stories, which ultimately are a woman sharing about female sexuality and female sexuality in this world, because I am a woman. So I think that those things are already out there quite a bit. So at this time, I'm letting the other people handle that. And I'm more interested, what I really want is to give women, not I mean, you give yourself the permission. I just want to share that we deserve to give ourselves permission to own our orgasm, own our pleasure for ourselves, and building that relationship with the self. That's really what I want to bring and cultivate.
So why you are different is more than one reason, but one of the main reasons you are so unique, Julia, is because you sex sells, yes, but you are not interested.
Oh, I lost you.
Hello?
Yeah, keep going.
Yes, yes. So you really want to empower women to discover their own sexuality in a inner sense, in the
Yeah.
sense of beauty they hold within, and not
And
necessarily as a commercial, in a commercial sense, where if you become sexy, you become more valuable to
yeah,
society.
sorry. Right. Teaching, yeah. And this is comes with also teaching like concrete skills for pleasure, like, you know, teaching masturbation and how to have an orgasm that way, and mindfulness in it, being present, and all of these, you know, also how to communicate and build a relationship where you can talk to and sense your body. And it's ultimately because that's like the missing piece that we need to be empowered in relationship with other people. But it's best, I believe, you've got to like do the work with yourself. You can't ignore that and just expect to get a trick to make your love life awesome.
So how would you, for example, how would you help somebody to work on their sex appeal?
I don't know if I would help them work on their sex appeal. If they wanted to, if that made them feel good. I would say your sex appeal largely has to do with how you feel about yourself. One of the things that I do that's been extremely empowering for me and really increased my ability to be present with my sexiness is I have a ritual around self-pleasure for myself. I will, before self-pleasuring or masturbating, I will often go to my closet, pick out sexy clothes. I'll take time to dress myself up, and then I'll go into the bathroom and maybe I put on makeup or something, or maybe I don't, you know. Then I'll take my camera out and I take pictures of myself, you know, like sexy pictures. And this actually like it's been very affirming for me, and it's just for myself, you know. But it also gets me in the mood, and so then when I go and have my sexy time with myself alone, it's even better, and it feels very embodied and pleasurable. And that is one thing I, you know, definitely encourage is women to make dates with themselves like that, to spend time bringing themselves up, putting themselves in a sexy clothes so they feel good, and then creating a ritual, you know, around their self-pleasure to increase their sense of beauty, and also get them in touch with their pleasure in a conscious way.
In my life, I met different people, and each time they got their own story, and I like to learn from their own lessons. And I just wonder, what is the power of experience within your course? How do you encourage your students to experience uh, a new you, you know, a fresh image of
Right.
yourself?
So the work that I do with Bodysex, it's a 2-day workshop for women. It's a small group, about 10 of us. And this is actually something that I was trained in by Betty Dodson. She's the creator of it. She's a world famous doctor of sexology, and she's a very famous revolutionary and my mentor. And this work, Bodysex, that I do, it's largely experiential transformation. So it's 2 days. We spend the time together deeply diving into our bodies and our authentic self. And it's through sharing our stories. We talk about in the circle how we feel about our orgasm, how we feel about our bodies. A lot of women have they have shame around how their vulvas look. Or maybe they've never even looked at them, you know, or maybe they've looked at their vulvas, but they think, oh, that looks weird, you know, so I'm just going to not think about it. So one of the big things we do is genital show and tell is what it's called. And it's this beautiful ritual where we get to see the variety of vulvas and we look at our own. And through this, we discover like just that there's no comparing any of them. And it's deeply affirming, like very, very healing. Every time I go through it as the person being led through it, not as the facilitator, I actually cry because it's a very, very moving experience to build that relationship with your pussy. And there's a lot of components to it. You learn about self-pleasure and different orgasm techniques, and then we explore them, we practice them together. It's a deeply bonding experience for the women, bonds them very deeply in sisterhood together. And really it's all about celebrating like who you are, but also getting real and raw. You know, sharing the negative things that you felt about yourself, the worries you've had about your orgasm, the worries you've had about your body that maybe you haven't told anyone or you just try not to think about. So we unpack those together and we get this powerful experience of seeing each other for who we are and being seen, which is very, very healing and empowering. And it's also a lot of fun. That's what
I
Bodysex is like.
I could see your passion in running those workshops and helping women to understand the difference between their sexuality and then their sensuality, and because they are completely different things. And I can see um, how much benefit there is for somebody coming to your workshop, because it's such a taboo subject. And personally,
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate. I never had any worries about my body, or I don't know. I've always been very happy as I am with who I am.
You've
But,
arrived.
but perhaps there are people who their whole life is upside down simply
Right.
because they don't have
You
orgasm,
know,
or
that's
they're
a
not
common
sure. Yes.
thing. There's quite few women who will say, "Oh, but I already feel so good about myself," you know. And it's funny because I felt that way when I first went. I went after my big like sexual breakthrough. I was very empowered feeling. I was really alive in my body and in my pleasure when I went. And I still had enormous breakthrough and healing. It took it out of my mind and brought it into this very deep level. And it also was very healing for me with my relationships with women. I feel much more connected to women and able to connect instead of worrying about how I measure up. You know, if I am as cute as this other girl or if she's going to judge me, you know. It's very healing for that as well.
Very interesting. So what do you think about, perhaps you heard about that movie, Sex and the City, and I don't think of anyone, I don't know any person who did not watch at least an episode.
Well,
You know, one of,
I'm now you know one person.
yeah. So I just
I
wanted
have
to
not
know.
watched Sex in the City, and this is
Exactly.
largely because I
Yes.
watched almost nothing. I'm very media illiterate.
Yes. So this is why
Hollywood
I'm bringing
illiterate.
this up. So
What?
this is why I'm bringing this. This is why I'm bringing this up. So um, how would you like to? How would you feel about coming more often into our show and answer questions and invite your clients and talk about your experiences? Would you like that, or you want to keep it to a
Oh,
very private level?
no, I would love to come back.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I definitely be very grateful if you could come back and we'll organize some the logistics. But I think it's a very unspoken truth, and it's time for women all ages to wake up to themselves instead of wake up to an empty room or empty life. So thank you so much, Julia. What would be your key message for today?
My key message would be that instead of following the script other people have for you, you deserve to fully explore and express the story and the passion that you have for yourself. So, in your body and your orgasm. I think it would be that you deserve to have pleasure for yourself on your terms, not anyone else's.
Thank you so much, Julia. Until next time, from both of us, is goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.